What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Homie Hangout, where we help others move with excellence. And a quick little channel update, and then we'll get into the subject of this video. For those that don't know, I've had a reaction channel called Rascal Reacts for quite a while, and I will post to it periodically. I'm going to rebrand that channel as something else in the near future. I don't know what yet, but I'm taking some of the videos from Rascal Reacts and moving them over here to the Homie Hangout, right? Re-uploading the raw video file. So if you click on a video and it's like, hey, you asked for my 2 cents, I'll give you a nickel. Or if it shows a different logo or whatever, that's why. In the title of those videos and on the thumbnail of those videos, I put it's re-uploaded from Rascal Reacts. And it's only stuff that I think, you guys would find interesting or make some conversation, right? Not all of them. So keep an eye out for those. I posted one on Sunday night that was about the lady who went to go visit her husband at Tehachapi for a family visit. COs apparently got a tip that she was bringing contraband. They proceeded to abuse the hell out of her, detain her, take her to an outside hospital where she got violated even worse. Ultimately, she files a lawsuit and wins $5.6 million. So I did that video at the time. Obviously, it's been some months now, but now it's up on the Homie Hangout. This morning, I uploaded a video, my commentary on some stuff that Cholo Trucker had said about gangs and gangbanging, which is a topic that he rarely gets into, and I found it pretty interesting. So that's been up this morning. I'm still gonna do fresh content every day like this. So make sure, of course, you have the bell notification hit and just sort of keep an eye out for the content that's coming. But for those that have been wondering, that's what's going on there. So this situation, right? I'm not gonna show you newspaper articles or news channel clips, even though this has been on the news a lot, because there's a bunch of different narratives that I'm going to get into, but I will show you what this corner store looks like now since this incident happened, and then I'll explain to you what in fact that incident was, right? So here we go. And the caption at the top, it says, some gangbanger was shot by a store clerk in self-defense and his goons vandalized the store. Now, I'm not saying that that's exactly what happened. We'll get into it, and you guys let me know in the comments. But that is certainly the running narrative. And obviously they tore the store up, right? This was as of a couple days ago. It had a little bit of graffiti before, but it didn't look nothing like this. So there you have it. What happened? What is not debatable, right? What we know for sure happened is on Friday, December 7th, around 10:30 p.m., there's this individual, Milo. There's a scuffle that happens in front of the store. The store's in the west side of Modesto, West Side Boyz neighborhood, right? Northern Clique, been around there for a long time. And it's their hood store. And I'll talk about hood stores in a minute. But there was some kind of scuffle in front of the store about 10:30 at night, involving some people from the streets and some people that own or are related to those who own the store. And in that scuffle, a gun comes out from somebody connected to the store. That gun goes off, and an individual named Milo, the news initially had said he was in his mid-20s. Turns out he's in his mid-30s. But Ismael Milo Diaz, I think that's his full name, but he goes by Milo, he's from West Side Boyz. He winds up getting shot. Police respond. He winds up getting taken to the hospital and ultimately dies from his wounds at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So that is the bare bones facts of it. And as of now, nobody has been charged in the case. So what was the scuffle? Who was involved? All that, there's different versions, and everybody has their own narrative. And I think we will find out at some point what the truth is. I don't know if the cameras at the store were working or not, but the police, Modesto Police Department, has a pole, one of their camera poles out front with a big old sign saying, hey, there's a camera, we're watching you. And so I would imagine that picked up something. But there's different theories, right? There's different arguments here. Some say it was Milo fighting with other people. Some say it was Milo fighting with the store clerks, that Milo was fighting with other people, and then people from the store came out and tried to break it up and got carried away. Others say, no, it was just a fight between Milo and maybe, some of his homeboys and those who worked at the store. Then some are saying actually Milo wasn't involved in the fight, right? Milo was standing sort of close by. He was just having a conversation with somebody. He had actually turned and went to walk away. He didn't want no part of it. and he winds up getting shot in the back in cold blood. Some are saying that the individual who fired the gun didn't intend to fire the gun. He was using the gun to pistol whip these dudes from the streets that were involved in an effort to try to break up the fight, and the gun accidentally went off and ended up hitting Milo. Again, what exactly is true there and what isn't, I don't know. I wasn't there. And this is obviously a very emotional topic, and it's become a very political topic. So there's word, that was put out almost immediately, which was kind of interesting, that there was restraining orders and trespassing orders and that kind of stuff, specifically against Milo on behalf of the store. Like, hey, you can't come here. You're not welcome on his property. Stay away. And then they said, well, he wasn't properly served with it. And obviously his family is saying, well, whether he was served with it or not, that doesn't give you the right to execute him for trespassing, right? That's not a capital offense, which is 100% true. You can't shoot somebody for violating a restraining order, not in California. You have to have a reasonable belief that there's an imminent threat to life, right? Your life or somebody else's, in order for you to use deadly force. So again, we'll have to wait to see how it shakes out. I think the existence of the paperwork, though, does go to show that there was a history there. Milo had issues with these folks before. They had issues with him. He knew that he wasn't welcome there, whether he got the official document or not. And so why was he there? Why was he even pressing the issue? Again, does that mean he deserved to lose his life? No, not necessarily. Now, if he's over there getting into it and he's fighting and it's getting hectic, then there's a little bit more of a gray area, right? But so there's more questions at this point than answers. I will say this: this hood store, which we never called them hood stores, but I hear them called that by younger folks, and in hood vlogs, which obviously we didn't have when I was younger either. People are quick to point out, oh, this is our hood store, this is our hood store. So for those that don't know, here's at least my understanding and my experience with them, coming from the Bay Area. A lot of neighborhoods, especially low-income neighborhoods, you got little corner stores. And once upon a time, those corner stores were good for a lot of stuff. You would have a butcher. A lot of times it was the closest place where you can get like milk and bread and produce and that kind of stuff. But also the people who ran those stores tended to have some ties to the community. They tended to be a family from the neighborhood that everybody knew, so you can get a little line of credit or whatever. Over time, it became a thing where check cashing. Now at this point, I think most of them, at least in urban areas, is for check cashing. It's for lotto tickets. It's for alcohol. It's for Swissers and tobacco, and it's for munchies, right? Little zoom and wham whams when you're hungry. You can still get some milk there, but it'll probably go bad the next day, and it's going to cost you twice as much as if you went to the grocery store. But if that's the only place you got access to, then it beats a blank. So those are the hood stores, and kids will go in there and shoplift and mess up. And when we were younger, we would be kind of jerks to the people at the store. But at least in my era, we also got scolded for that, right? Because that was our store, and sometimes it was a love-hate relationship. The people who ran the store, eventually, the families that were from the neighborhood that ran those stores, they tended to go away over time, right? And a lot of times it was immigrant families coming in from the Middle East or wherever that would buy up a bunch of these stores. And that would produce some tension sometimes, right? Some racial tension, some ethnic tension, because these folks own these stores, but there's not a whole lot of them that live in the community. They're not really tied to the neighborhood. So then there's a feeling of like, hey, you're here taking our money and making money off of us, but you don't respect us. That's a big issue in the Watts riots and stuff in Southern California, with a lot of the Chinos that had stores in predominantly Black and brown neighborhoods. Not saying that that's what's at play here. I'm just saying that, a brief little kind of rundown on hood stores. So their usefulness now, though, is, again, mostly check cashing, tobacco, alcohol, T-shirts and that kind of stuff, bootleg clothes. When I was younger, if you were rapping, that was a place to have your little flyers, have your little, CDs and stuff, to kind of put you on. They don't really do that anymore. So here's the issue, though, right? Is it seems in general, a lot of these hood stores, there's a lack of respect now. And you guys let me know in the comments if this is what you've noticed in the hood stores in your area, but people push too far. And some folks get to feeling like they own the store because you claim the neighborhood and the store's in your neighborhood, that you own it. And you could just treat them any old kind of way. Or you get some kind of special treatment. Well, that special treatment is a two-way street, right? You look out for the store. You don't act a fool. You make sure that people aren't robbing it all the time and tagging up on it all the time. And also you get a little bit of love, right? It's a two-way thing. But if you're not going to participate in your end, then you can't expect the owners of the store to cut you slack either. And they're still running a business. And this is where the politics of this situation comes in. Because there's a lot of attention on California and the lawlessness and all the retail theft and everything else. So a lot of people are seizing on this as, again, hey, it's about time that a store owner had enough. F these gang members, F these people feeling like they could do whatever they want to do. You got a business to run. Do what you got to do. The cops ain't going to do anything about it. Their parents aren't going to do anything about it. Then damn it, strap up and you do something about it. So the owners of the store, the family, is getting a lot of support from people who don't like to see this. They don't like to see the store look like this, right? They don't like the reckless behavior that a lot of times happens in front of and around stores like this. And as somebody who's a little bit older, I don't blame them. Again, I don't know, I don't think the solution is to go around shooting people. The specifics of this case, we'll have to figure it out. But the shit does get old, and part of being in a neighborhood, like, you got to respect these places, or again, you run across a problem. Now, the family who owns this place, my understanding is they own a bunch of stores and similar kind of shops throughout the area. I also think that they have some younger relatives that are affiliated with their own sets of hoods, and I'm not going to get into that because it's not necessarily relevant to the story, but like, this could turn into a gang thing. It could turn into a back and forth. If you look at the video, it's pretty common with these stores, at least the ones I've seen. A lot of times the family who owns it, they live there, right? They have relatives that live there. Somebody in their family, or who works there, or whatever, stays on the property. They tend to stay in the back, or if it's a 2-story, they'll stay above. This store looks like it has some housing in the back. I don't know who stays there, but if you take that into consideration, now you're not just messing with somebody's business, you're also messing with their home. They live there, and that may change the dynamics a little bit and what you're willing to put up with and what you aren't. So I'm seeing a lot of stuff online. I don't want to jump to conclusions. I will say that I've heard from folks that Milo was one of those dudes who felt like he could go in there and act in his own way. He would steal from the store. He would act a fool. He would talk shit. And I don't know. I'm of course, the family's coming out now and they're like, hey, he's a father and he has a teenage daughter. She's active on social media. And so he was all these other things. He's not just Milo from the West Side Boyz. He's also these other roles. And I relate to that, right? And I'm not going to say that that's not true. I think that that's true for a lot of us. Even when we're caught up in our reckless behavior, that is not all, that we are. That is not the only hat that we wear, so to speak. I don't know the relationship with him and his daughter. I'm not going to critique the dude's parenting. I will say, as a parent, though, of teenagers, and as somebody who's been caught up in stuff in my life, and as somebody who made some mistakes even as a parent, right? I didn't all of a sudden became consistently law-abiding when I came home from prison. I've had my seasons of fucking up too. And one of those, was a big wake-up call for me, in part because I'm a parent. Parenting is not just a title. It influences, or it should influence, all your decisions. Like, bro, you're 34, 35 years old. Why you posted up in front of a fucking liquor store at 10:30 on a Saturday? Right? You know what kind of stuff happens out there. Like, you're too old for this. You know the kind of shit that happens out there, or that has the potential to happen. You know them people don't want you over there. You know you're hot. As soon as they see you, they're going to have eyes on you, right? Probably going to press you. Maybe they've had a bad day. They're like, man, I ain't got, energy for your shit today. Why you there? Why you there? Nothing good is gonna come from that. And again, I'm not here to critique the particulars of him or his relationship with his kids or anything else. It's poor decision making. It appears from the outside. That's some poor decision making that obviously now has an impact on your whole family. I think there's a lesson in there for all of us. A lot of times somebody gets hurt, somebody gets in a situation, and now all the family, they want justice. And another thing that had come up is him being handcuffed. So he gets shot, the police respond, and according to the family, they put Milo in handcuffs. They treat him like a criminal, even though he's the only gunshot victim. To me, that's a separate issue, right? That's an issue with police. You have the issue of him getting blasted. That's the issue with the store folks. But then how the police responded in that's a separate problem. The store owner could have been in the right and the cops are in the wrong, or vice versa. We just got to see. I will say I've seen plenty of videos of police killing people, police shooting people. And when they first walk up, the first thing they do is cuff them. Kick the gun away, handcuff them, and then they're supposed to start life-saving measures. I'm not saying that's the right way to approach things. It's definitely something that I think should be looked at. From a cop's perspective, my guess is they approach a situation and their argument is always, well, we don't know what's going on. And so everybody's detained until we figure it out. I think you got somebody laying on the ground with a gunshot wound, probably don't need to cuff them, but, that's not unusual practice, it seems, from the police, just from what I've seen on social media. So, again, doesn't make it right. Doesn't mean I agree with it. It's kind of how they get down. And Milo is no stranger to law enforcement either. It's sad all the way around. A teenage daughter doesn't have her father. And that's going to impact her for the rest of her life, right? And she's on social media. Her friends are on social media. Their family's on social media. Obviously this is a loss. And it was preventable. And the question is, in this search for blame, do folks not look at what their side could have done different? Let's say they are out there scuffling. Do you need to get a pistol and start pistol whipping people if that's what happened? Right? Is that necessary to break it up? Did your anger get the best of you? Did your frustration with this dude get the best of you where you suddenly didn't really give a fuck about him? And if something bad happens, it happens. Okay, well, that comes with consequences, right? Did he need to keep going to the store? Was he pressing the issue? Did he feel entitled? Okay, well, that comes with consequences. So I think it's a sad situation. I'm curious what you guys think. I've done my best to give you the full view and all the angles that I'm hearing, right? And be kind of unbiased about this. It's unfortunate. I will say I'm leaning in the direction, though, of fuck around and find out. Not saying it's right, but there's another expression, and I don't mean to talk ill of the dead, but there's an expression, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And poking around someplace where you ain't wanted, it's a price to pay. And folks with these hood stores, again, California's tired of it. And not just California, but people are tired of it. And there is a public support for this. I guarantee that other hood store owners are watching how this situation unfolds. And they're not just watching it from the legal angle, they're also watching it from the public angle. What's the public response? And there's a lot of people in Modesto that feel like Jimmy, it is what it is. Right now, Jimmy has a history too, to be fair. He has a history of pulling guns, right? That's the dude that's connected to the store. If it was really him or one of his relatives, I don't know. But that's the name that keeps coming up. And he's a well-known person. It's a well-known family. They've had this store for decades, right? A lot of people think Jimmy's pretty cool, and he'll talk shit and he has a hood element to him. But you have a hood store. Like, are the residents of the community the only ones that are allowed to act hood? Or if they go act hood, can't the owner of the store, have a little hood in them too? If it's good for one, it's good for both, right? But Jimmy has also pulled bangers on people before and just kind of been tired of their shit, and cops have come. And so, maybe it is a case of him getting carried away. Maybe there was some writing on the wall, no pun intended, that something like this might happen. But there are a lot of people that are on his side. And I will say, tagging up the store like this, they're not doing anything to help the memory of Milo, right? I get it, you're angry. Your homeboy got killed. Had a lot of homeboys get killed. A whole variety of different ways. So trust me, I understand that. But doing all this to the store, you're setting yourself up there. And if there is violence in the community, what they're going to go do? They're going to go look to that. And if there's a camera on that pole out there that saw what happened, I'm pretty sure the camera was still fucking working when they did all this to the store. Like, you're just inviting a heavier law enforcement presence, and you're inviting more criminal charges for more people, which doesn't do any good for their families and doesn't do any good for the family that Milo left behind. If you want to be there for his kid and be there for his family, then you got to fucking stay out of jail too. So maybe just something to keep in mind. Like that. Again, I get it, but it's very juvenile. And I guess that's the other part that throws me is it kind of made a little bit more sense when I thought he was in his mid-20s. But mid-30s? Come on, man. We leave the kids shit to the kids, But anyways, like I said, you guys let me know in your comments, what you guys think. This video is already a little bit longer than I planned. Help others move in excellence. That's what homies do. Help yourself at the same time because you're worth it. Help your community because they need you. Stay tuned. Like I said, got some regurgitated content coming over and got some fresh stuff all day, every day. Take care.